So the Labour government in the UK just announced there, Keir Starmer, that they want to bring in a digital ID, and now straight away, I think everybody knows that that's ludicrous. First of all, second of all, do we want to become China in the Western world? Because it pretty much leads to social credit score. What you see in China, if you question the government, you'll not be able to go and buy your food or go out on public transport. Be social. You basically get deducted if you criticise Keir Starmer, which wouldn't go well for a lot of people in the UK at the moment. But let's put it this way: it is authoritarian. There's no doubt about it. Digital ID, and again, the government always create a problem, then a reaction, and then a solution. What I mean by that is they're using the Channel crossings, the people crossing from France into the United Kingdom on small dinghies, to say, oh, we need this for the greater good, the common good, as they would say in Ireland. And I want to just talk about Ireland too in a second, because in Ireland they would use it's for the common good. But who's the common good? Like, they often use these words, the common good. But who is the common good? Who does the benefit? Who's the common good? Who does that benefit? Because they say it's for the common good, but what's the common good? They identified the common good because it's definitely not for the native Irish people when they use that word. They use the common good. It's never for the Irish people, But take for example the UK, they would say oh, it's for the greater good and stuff like that, and this is to stop this and to stop that. But it's pretty much a problem reaction solution. And you see this across the board, and you see it in China and North Korea. They create a problem, then come up with a solution, then it's, you know, they come up with their answer, I suppose. And it's weird because we see the UK at the moment. If you say anything now online at all, if you question anything online now in the UK, you're nearly arrested for it. It's quite insane. But it's ludicrous. It is ludicrous, and we have to do our best too, quite as European countries too. Even though it's in the UK, it's their business winning the way too. But we would wanted to stop because we wanted to fail 100%. Irish people would want to see this fail in the UK because it would send a clear message to Brussels. As we know, they're trying to bring in digital euro, so pretty much they're trying to do it away with cash. They want to do this. The European Central Bank wants to do away with cash and wants to bring in a digital euro so they can easily track what you're spending and stuff like 1984, quite literally. Very sus stuff, and we're supposed to be, as a democracy, a free state. But it's becoming more and more like China, and that's like it pretty much is. Like, let's be fair, nobody, like no right sane person would say we need to bring in a digital ID for to stop immigration and stuff. You can do that if you put say the military or the Royal Navy into the English Channel and just stop boats, turn them around and send them back to France. That's what they need to do, or either just deport people as soon as they land, put them back on the boat and send them back to France straight away. But saying that we need a digital ID for this, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They can do it without it. Like, let's be fair, because there is such thing as driver's license. There is such thing as a passport. There is such thing as them things. Like, I wouldn't mind if they didn't exist. Like, here the documents are better off. Like, a physical thing is a lot better than fucking an online thing. It's insane. But that's what it is, and we see it in China. It's for the common good, they said when they first brought it in China. It's for the greater good, the common good. And look how that turns out. Because governments go hungry in power. Because Keir Starmer, and I'm sure the Labour government, if it was a Conservative government too, might be the same. Because, they have literally unlimited means now when they bring in this pretty much social ID, pretty much, that they could do anything. They could say, "Oh, you're criticizing us on social media. You're not allowed any food for the week. We're not allowing you to buy any food because you would have to probably scan it to get your food." Because that's probably what happened. Like, let's be fair, that's probably what happened because that's what they do in China. If you criticize the Communist Party, etc., etc., you're not allowed to go out or to go on public transport to go and do this and to go and that because your credit score's too low. You've been criticizing Xi Jinping. You've been calling him Winnie the Pooh, etc., etc. You can't have that. You can't call Keir Starmer Winnie the Pooh too. That's a grave offence. But it's quite insane. It is quite insane. It's madness. But where it's coming from, and the person that came up with this and I suppose cheerleaded this on, is Tony Blair. Like Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister. That went into Iraq. Yeah, that Tony Blair. He's still around. But yeah, he's the one that's been cheerleading this. Now, I know it's very ironic, that poster behind me. But thankfully, she's not forward. Thankfully, she hasn't come out and said, yeah, we're going to go and do this now. But it's very ironic, the Tony Blair, it's the truth. But yeah, but Sandra Mallon's a very good person. She wouldn't support that kind of stuff, I'm sure. Um, But yeah, Tony Blair, imagine getting your ideas from Tony Blair. Like who would listen to Tony Blair? Like, let's be fair. Tony Blair, let's be fair, Wyman here now. But no, it's insane. And I do hope it fails, and I hope British people push back on it, because it shouldn't be allowed to happen. Because pretty much that's the end of democracy when you have this kind of stuff, and especially there's this mighty amount of stuff, security concern, privacy concerns. Like, we could sit here for the next hour discussing it. But long story short, the same for Ireland too, because they will do it here eventually. They will try their best. They're all trying their best as we speak. We have to do our best to stop it in any way, shape or form, because it's not us that will suffer the most. It'll be our children when they live in a dictatorship, when they're not allowed to go outside, or they're not allowed to go this, because they maybe had a thought crime. Maybe they thought about something that they shouldn't have thought about. And, we can't have that in 1984. But yeah, we have to appreciate democracy, appreciate our freedoms, because we shouldn't give them away, because freedom is precious, and it can be taken away, and we've seen that during COVID, that our freedoms were taken away, our inalienable rights that were given to us, and the only person who can take it away is Almighty God. When you go from this earth, when you die on this earth, that's the only person who can take away your rights. That's the only time you lose your rights, when you no longer exist as a soul, as a human being. I know government has the right to come along and say, no, you're not allowed the rights because we say so. Because they're not God, they're not judge and jury executioner. But anyway, let me know what you think, subscribe for more, and bye.